again, y'all. This is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Naomi. So, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by and giving it a shot. Y'all, I don't know if y'all are into watching the CW, but to me, in like recent years, and when I say recent, I mean 5 to 7, probably even longer, they have had so many awesome shows to come through there. Before I left home, late 2009 to move away, I had been watching Supernatural. What was the other show that's based off of a comic that I used to watch? Um, it was like some kind of, I don't forgot the name. I don't remember if it was Archie or whatever, but I used to watch several shows on the CW. Now, this is very special and near and dear to my heart because it is about a nerdy black girl. A nerdy black girl who is really, really into comics. She lives for Superman. But the last little bit of information as far as who she is, I'm gonna save that because we find that out officially in this episode. So let's go ahead and get started. So, y'all, the episode came back on to start where it left off, where Naomi is talking to Dee. Dee, remember, is the tattoo shop owner that lives in the town. He has been explaining to her that she's different, and he exposed the fact that he had wings and all this stuff, and he's really trying to get her to understand that you're different from everybody else that's here. I understand that you are trying to search for something and look for clues on some things. It is what it is, but no. So now she at the house, and her parents are having breakfast with her and talking to her, and they are trying to help her to understand that, your adoption date is just your adoption date, and no, there's nothing different about you, because after all this information that she found out from Dee, she wants to know, like, okay, what did anybody tell you anything? Like, do you have any details about how my parents died? I knew that there was like some kind of an accident, but like, was it a car crash? Did they get hit by a bus? Like, was it a plane crash? Like, what was going on? And so they were just like, look, like, they're no longer here, but we love you. Like, we are your parents. We're trying to take care of you, and we are taking care of you. That is our job. And so the mama, she got to get ready for work, but you could tell she kind of upset. And so she leaves from the table, and her father is like, we love you. And so she was like, Dad, I know. And, he got to get ready for work too. But it's like they just need her to be reassured that they live for her and they want her. So they don't want her to, question anything or, possibly feel some type of way when they don't think that she needs to. So after she's found all this information out, she go to school and she just ready for the day to be over with, because Dee told her, meet me tomorrow after school or whatever, so we can discuss some things so that you can get a better understanding of what's going on, especially if you think you might be ready to hear it. So while she on her way out, because the bell finally rang for the day, she going and getting her books and putting her stuff in her locker, and the guy who was interested in her rolled up on her and wanted to know if she wanted to go out with him to get pizza, not knowing that this is what would be a date. Now later on, she gonna finally realize. So anyway, she done sped on over. However she did, because she does not have a vehicle. I think she skateboarded on over to where Dee wanted to meet her. They're talking, and he was like, look, you are an alien, and Superman is real, and you have powers. We all have like this aura and these different invisible vibrations that are all around us at all times. And it's just something different about someone who is like us, because me and you, we are aliens. And she's just stuck on the fact that this man that told her that she's an alien and that Superman is actually real and all this other stuff. And it's like, what you mean I'm an alien though? Like, that ain't making sense to me. He done told her You know what I'm saying? I told you that I would prove it to you. He told this heifer to jump off this bridge where there's like a little like not river, stream, I guess you could say, flowing under this bridge. And so she looking at him like, what you mean? Ultimately, she chickens out and he was just like, you're not ready. And, and he gonna walk out because it's like, you need to come to me when you're ready because you're talking about you need to know the answers to all this stuff going on. You want to know where this unidentified object came from that flew over Oswego or whatever the name of this place is that y'all live. And, you want to know so much information, but you don't want to accept the fact that you are different. Because she was like, I've always embraced the fact that I was different, but I thought that I was a human. So for you to tell me that I'm an alien, what you mean? Like, I've always been usually the only black person in my town because my parents are military, and the places that my father has been stationed and my parents have been stationed, it just ended up being that way. I'm nerdy. I'm into all of this. So that's just the way it's been. But for her to find out she's an alien, she like, this is unbelievable for you to tell me I need to jump off a bridge for you to then say this is the proof that you need to know. He was like, you know what, it's all right. And so ultimately this man jumped off the bridge. And so she over here trying to chase after him. And once he saw that she had no faith that he would be all right, he was in the air floating because he had wings. And he told her, you are not ready. I was just like, child, it's a lot. So her friend Annabelle, if I'm not mistaken, came over to the house. Her mama was like, well, she's working on a project for school. Her mama apparently is great at cooking and everything else, down to the point where people live for this heifer to make them smoothies. Smoothies, baby. It ain't nothing but mixing up fruit with whatever you want to use as the base. And ice, if you want ice. It just depends on what type of person you are. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm doing alkaline, it's just spring water for me that I'm using to help make sure it mixes up, and all of the approved berries that I actually like partaking in. And then I sweeten it with agave. But as of late, as I've told y'all before, I have been using dates, which are awesome. So anyway, they are excited about a smoothie, child. I just could not get, I really can't. Like, people really be living for this hell for smoothies. So anyway, she go to her room to try to figure out what's going on. And so she looking like, what's going on? And so she just talking normally. And she was like, no, what's really going on? Because this ain't no school project. This heifer got all kinds of stuff up here. Like, she really is doing a deep dive. Okay, and that's cool. So now she's finding out that she wants to get her help, because after she had to chew her out the last time when she went off by herself, she was just like, well, let me just go ahead and tell her what's going on. So that's why she called her over there, so that she could help her to look through some stuff, because she's pretty sure that she is really on to something. Well, she ended up calling her boyfriend over there. This boyfriend has a barely hanging on, I don't know how it even made it over to her house, Ford Taurus, if I'm not mistaken. I was like, the car barely want to crank up and everything else. I know it ain't passed nobody's emissions test, like lies. He has to be a townie who is like, whose parents are like on the poverty line, got to be. Or they are just trying to, say, oh, okay, you don't need that much. Or he's just simply the type of person that is like, it's okay. I'll deal with this little hootie right here. And then when I get out of school and I do what I'm supposed to do, because you could tell he's really, really smart and nerdy, that he gonna get enough money and be making enough money to get whatever vehicle that he desires. So then we end up seeing Naomi's daddy meet up with, like, I guess a general, colonel, or whatever, somebody that's his boss, that's in the military. They have given him this special badge that's going to be over some kind of task force, if you will, that is going to be, trying to figure out what's going on, because so much stuff has been going on. They found a piece of like fabric or something out in the area where all this activity had gone on. They tried to burn it. They tried to, break it. It was indestructible, no matter what they tried to do. And so he was like, oh, well, maybe it's made out of this particular type of material. And they were like, no, we already tested it for that. This is something not of this world. And so the daddy was like, oh, so you mean to tell me that we're dealing with aliens? And he was like, yes. And I'm just like, child, you don't even know your child is an alien. So anyway, now Naomi, her friend Annabelle, and Annabelle's boyfriend are about to go and canvass the area trying to look for clues about where this unidentified object landed, or see if it's going to have any bearing on any information that she need really to figure out who she is, and really dig into that situation, because again, it all dates back to her date of adoption. So they over here canvassing stuff. She gets a moment where she's feeling this aura and all that stuff that she feels around her. And I'm like, child, where is this man at? The black man that owns that company, that used car place. Is that him? What's going on? So like, she just keeps hearing things and nobody else understands what's going on. And they end up having to kind of try to snap her out of the trance that she's in, because she really don't know what's going on and she's hearing stuff. And even though she told her best friend what's going on, nobody else knows who she is and what she got going on. So yeah, she actually sat her down and told her all of this stuff, and her friend is kind of like, like if she is kind of like taken aback, she's not really showing it. But yeah, she's just explained everything that has happened and that has led up to this moment, and that, everything is real. She's an alien and all this other stuff. So now the dude that she used to date then rolled up while they in the middle of talking, and he trying to link up with her to do some kind of project that they're supposed to work on. Keep in mind, all of these dates are adding up. This is all on the same day. This heifer that overwhelmed herself and don't even realize it yet. So anyway, they've taken pictures of everything that they've found, and they are looking at stuff in one of those little dark rooms where you take pictures in to get them developed and all that stuff. I've actually done that before. For any of y'all who live in Montgomery, Alabama, and y'all are around my age, I went to BTW Magnet High School for a year, and my magnet was photography, which ain't got nothing to do with nothing in life. Nothing that I would have gone to the school for. I wanted to go to do something in relation to playing the piano or art. And I didn't get into those because there were people who were leaps and bounds better than me, which I understand, and it is what it is. But because they were very, very talented, and I think they were in desperate need of people. So I was in photography, child, and I didn't make it, and it is what it is. And then I ended up having to go to Sidney Lanier High School, and that's where I ended up graduating from. So anyway, moving on back to the show. So Anthony, that's the name of Annabelle's boyfriend. He told her that there's this guy who his daddy used to work with back in the day, and they can go visit him because he would know more about that particular area that they were trying to canvass, because he was actually around and alive and, of age, old enough to know and remember when it happened, because he actually saw the object when it was flying in the sky. He saw the light. So they get inside and they talking, and so off rip, they're just like, oh, okay, so what you know about March 14th or whatever date it was, y'all, if I'm saying the wrong date, 1994 or 1990 or whatever date it was, y'all. I can't believe I done forgot already. But he kind of was looking like. Then eventually he went over everything that happened. He was like, he literally is like the white version of Naomi. He was a nerd. He was really into stuff like she's into skating and all of the stuff that was going on. So he literally saw with his own two eyes something in the sky. Then it was a light. And he's remembering it back. Like they showed him in that moment as well. He just was like, after that happened, me and my friends went to go to this meal because that's where it happened at. And for whatever reason, we never made it to the meal. All I remember is waking back up and I was just back at the car. So something kept them from getting close to the truth as to what was going on with that UFO that dropped from the sky. And so he was just like, look, it had gotten to a point where I just was like, let me just be like everybody want me to be and be normal. Because when they pulled up to the house, they were like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem very much like the type of person that you described. But he was just like, I got tired of being ridiculed. I ain't got time for the foolishness. It is what it is. So Naomi and her friends are back at her parents' house, and they talking. And she is just like, okay, I got to, look into this. We got to look into this. We got to look into this, thinking that she's going to get help from them to continue to keep this ball rolling, because there's momentum gaining now. Like, even if somebody want to try to keep it covered up, it's coming out slowly but surely. So now everybody like, yeah, my homework piling up, and like, so she was like, you know what, it's okay, I'll pack all this stuff up, whatever. Her best friend came upstairs and was like, is this a safe space? So she came in the room, they started talking, and she was just like, this is very important to me or whatever. And, it's okay if y'all don't want to, participate. And me telling you all the stuff that I just found out about myself is a lot. And I really just want to get down to the bottom of it. I don't understand why I have to be this person. Why is that I have to be an alien? I've already dealt with all this stuff in my life, being the only black person almost every time. Whenever we moved somewhere, I already was nerdy. I already thought I was different, but I'm really, really different. And her friend was like, well, why you got to see it as a bad thing? Like, you could be a superhero or whatever. Child, she ain't really seeing it like that right now. Like, it could be a good thing. She don't know how to use her powers or none of that. Like, she don't know how to control her powers that just come out of nowhere. We'll get to that later on too. But they had a, come to Jesus meeting moment and all of that, and they was talking. So then, while they at the house, the guy who was supposed to link up with her for pizza, he over there, and the mama is helping him to create a pizza, because I'm guessing they were going to go out somewhere and eat pizza. And so, she was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, it's okay. I understand. You got a lot going on, whatever. So his mama ended up, they going to end up rescheduling that, and they ended up having pasta or something like that. Child, then the ex-boyfriend that rolled up, he over here she looking at him like, what are you doing here? He was like, are you serious? This heifer done forgot he was supposed to be over there. Then he done ran into the dude that he can tell off rip that she like, and he like her. And so he like, what is he doing here? We were supposed to be doing a project together. Child, it's a mess. So luckily her best friend came from out of nowhere and was like, Naomi, you need to come see this. So the guys are upstairs and they're looking at this map. And they're trying to understand why they don't see any meals on the map. But old boy said that when this phenomenon happened, there was like within 10 miles of the square, which is where the little fight and stuff happened with Superman and whoever this blue man was on the first episode. Within 10 miles of that location, there was a meal. And that's where all this stuff went down. And they were sure that that's where it happened. And they're looking at this map. They don't see a meal nowhere on this map. So then she was like, she pulled out some kind of like little book or something, and it had other information on it. And it was like, if there are any meals, they're going to be on here. They're not going to be on this map. So they eventually found some stuff and literally found the meal. And the meal was like 3 miles away. So the dude was not lying and all this other stuff. Like, it really used to be a meal. It's not there anymore. He thought that it was somewhere else, but it was a whole to-do. So Anthony, the boyfriend, the car broke down that he was driving, and it's nighttime. So they're looking like, okay, so now what we gonna do? Well, Naomi ended up calling this girl who lives for her, who I feel like a lot of us are confused about what their relationship is. Some people, even her parents, think that the girl like her or they like each other. And that could very well be the case. I don't know. But this girl lives for Naomi to contact her and need her for stuff. So she rolled up. And so she was like, thank you for coming to pick us up. She was like, thank you for texting me. Thank you for reaching out to me. Like, she lived. Like, this heifer lives for her. Like, I'm just like, what is going on? So now they have gone and they have found the meal. They've gone on the inside and they see this writing, the same writing that was on that disc that Naomi found when she was in the woods that day. So now they looking at everything, and because of her supersonic hearing, I guess is what you can call it, she can hear footsteps. Child, I'm gonna try to say this man's name. The man who is the used car salesman, who is not of this world either. Let me try to say his name. Um, Zumbado, done rolled up. And even though he is not even within their, peripheral, he over here calling out to my some, dang it, I just messed my own self up. He over here talking about, Naomi, I know you're here. And I know you brought your friends too. I'm like, child, you done went off. And like, they all looking at her like, girl, we ain't leaving you. Cause he over here talking about, um, I'm only here for you. Your friends can go. And they like, we ain't going nowhere. I'm like, child, this man that went off. So she's trying to reassure them, like, don't worry about me. I'll be all right. Blah, blah, blah. Child, she done went back in there. They said, we'll be right outside in the car. So she went back in there to talk to him. And so it's something about him that just make all the leaves and everything just swirl all around her. So he was like, oh, you're controlling it a lot better than you were that day you were in the forest. I'm like, sir, you doing too much of your life. So anyway, he trying to tell her, you need to go ahead and mind your business. Don't worry about all of this. You need to forget that you ever saw anything like this. Get up out of here and just drop it. And so then like he over here kind of trying to blackmail her too, because he was like, yeah. One of the first things out of his mouth was, yeah, the investigators came by my shop and, I'm debating on if I'm going to tell them who I think was here and all this other stuff because, someone broke into my shop the other day. I'm like, child, you done did the most. Eventually she got blown back. I'm like, okay, did he do that? Or was that her not being able to control her powers? Child, eventually she got kind of scared and she ran away. And like, he was just like, y'all need to stay out of this. Like, don't do this no more. So anyway, when she got back to her friends, they wanted to talk to her, see what was going on. Lourdes ended up dropping them off. And she was just like, don't worry about it. Anytime, just call me, whatever, child. They wanted to know what was going on, what happened with him. And so she was like, oh, nothing happened. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. I think he was just trying to scare us. And I'm just like, girl. So anyway, the parents are talking one-on-one to one another, and he is trying to explain to her the task force that they didn't put him on, and she's confused. While they're talking, literally what they're talking about has everything to do with their daughter. A part of the investigation, as far as what they've come up with so far, was the fact that Dee, the tattoo owner, gave them information saying stuff about Superman and all this other stuff, and the information didn't check out because it's real. And so they were like, oh, well, we're going to have to look more into him, whatever. So now they're suspicious of him. And while all this is going down, Naomi then rolled back up on Dee to talk to him. And, she is slowly beginning to realize that there is some truth to it and how all of this stuff is related and that all of this stuff is happening. Ain't nothing she could do about it. So this heifer gonna just have to come to this realization. It is what it is. Child, now she acting like she ready to make that deep dive. Before she does that, to really jump head first into the situation, old boy then went back into the mill and like did his hand like this and made all of this like I'm trying to think of how they say it, like in the DC and Marvel movies. Made all of the like not hieroglyphics. I can't think of the name of the terminology, child. It's like alien, like it's like symbols and stuff that were on there that she found that were on the disc. He made all of that disappear by doing this all over that area, like in front of the doors and wherever it was etched out at. In my mind, I'm like, okay, when he got the disc, did he put it up there or was that what was already there? I don't know. But anyway, Dee and Naomi ended up going back to that location where he told her to jump. And this time she said she was ready. She ran and she jumped and we didn't see anything. He said no splash, meaning that her powers are there. And I don't know if she has wings. I guess we'll see next week. Like, I don't know. But anyway, this show is good. If you ain't watching it, you missing ill. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up. Let's talk about it in the comment section. Like, even if you are not into like the whole Marvel versus DC thing, which I love both, even though mostly y'all see me wear, well, y'all have seen me wear Marvel stuff more than anything else. I grew up like initially strictly DC stuff. That's all I had. Y'all don't understand. Y'all do not understand. But anyway, but I love both. So yeah, y'all. Let me know what y'all think about it. I'm telling y'all, this is the type of show that somebody who ain't even into comics and all that stuff, they might actually find this interesting. So yeah, y'all let me know down in the comment section. All right. Y'all be safe out there. Stay warm. And, stay masked up and all that good stuff. All right. I'll see y'all later. Bye.